What is up, guys? Good morning and welcome back to another video. We're still working on the S13. The swap is almost complete, and I feel like I've been saying that for so freaking long. I'm still waiting for my transmission mount to come in. It's been over a week already. It's still not here, so basically that is keeping us on standby from completing it. So we've just been working on other little things, trying to get it closer and closer so that when the transmission mount does come in, I can just pop it in, get the drive shaft made, and we're good to go. I just came back from O'Reilly's and picked up a bunch of stuff. Got some hose clamps. I told you guys last video that I was going to be swapping out all of these hose clamps because they just move around, and I don't feel like I should be running these because I can actually, like, I don't remember which clamp it was, but it was one of these clamps that it was as tight as it could go and I could still move the hose. So yeah, got some new hose clamps. I got this hose, which is for the coolant reservoir to the radiator. I didn't know the exact size. I guessed, and let's see if it works. Yeah. Get in there. Get in there.
That's what she said.
Damn, I think this might be too small. That sucks. And then I went to Ace Hardware and I picked up some hardware, and you guys probably can imagine what this is going to be for. We're going to be putting on the hood today, and of course for the hood to fit with this big old motor in here that sits so freaking high up, we need hood risers. So I'm going to be raising the hood up with these spacers right here, and I'm going to be cutting out the skeleton of the hood. So hopefully these spacers are big enough and it does fit. If not, we'll just probably stack some washers or something on here to make it a little bit higher. Let's start mocking up the hood and let's see if we can get it to fit. So I got my area cleaned up so we can go and install the hood, but what we're going to do also is we're going to be taking off these hood hinges, and we're going to cut the little tab right there in the corner so we get what they call the Honda hood mod, where the hood bends all the way back. I've always wanted to do that, so since the hood is off and we're going to be modifying it, might as well modify the hinges at the same time. So let's go ahead and knock that out. Is really all you have to do. So you guys saw I took the angle grinder and I just cut off that tab. It folds all the way back now. So let's go ahead and go back to the car and get this one installed. I just tossed the hinges back on. Now we're gonna go ahead, start cutting up the hood. From my understanding, basically just cut the skeleton of it. The plenum would sit somewhere in this area. All right, so you see how much we cut off. I think that should be enough to clear right here. I kind of guided myself off these edges right here where the headlight goes. I just cut straight down on both sides because I figured right here That's enough clearance on this side, and it's more enough clearance on this side. Main issue is in this area right here. I think we'll be good. Judging off like the headlight area and going straight down, same on the hood, I think we'll be okay, because the highest point closer would be like right here on the intake, and I think that's fine. So let's go ahead and let's toss the hood on here, and if we need to make more modifications, we'll just cut a little bit more, but I think that should be good. Sprayed some simple green on here, hosed it down real quick, wiped it down, and look how much better it's looking. It was all ugly and dirty, and I mean, it's still ugly and a little bit dirty, but it's a lot better. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna get rid of this whole hood eventually, get like a carbon one or just like a fiberglass one, like vented or something. So yeah, let's go throw it on. Alright, so the hood is now on, guys. I haven't tested the Honda mod to see if it would all the way back, just because I'm trying to get it lined up correctly right now. It is a little bit too far back. There's about a gap this big right here on each side of the headlight. And another issue I'm running into is that right here, there's this rod that goes down from right here, and I removed it just to have a cleaner look. And when you remove that, of course, this is going to be a little flimsier because that rod, it supports this thing in place. So when I close the hood, this comes down a little bit and it doesn't latch correctly. I kind of have to hold on to this while I push the hood down. And of course, when I have a bumper on, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm either going to have to put this supporting rod back on, or maybe once I adjust the hood and have it sit a little bit farther forward, maybe it'll latch better. So I'm going to try to adjust it a little bit and we'll see what happens. All right, so I moved the hood forward a little bit, as much as it goes really, and honestly, it did not make much of a difference. I mean, this side, there's a gap, but it's definitely not as bad as this side. Like that is a big freaking gap right there. It's probably because of the hood risers that is causing that gap. And honestly, I don't even like hood risers. I've never liked hood risers. I think they look horrible on 90% of cars, and this car is one of the cars that I think it looks horrible on. But unfortunately, I have no choice but to run it. You can't really tell over there, but even with the hood raised up this much, it literally clears the plenum by about that much. It like barely even clears. So I may be able to cut the skeleton a little bit more right back here where I didn't cut much, and maybe shave down the spacers a little bit so it could sit a little bit lower. But other than that, I don't think there's much that I'm gonna be able to do. And another thing, guys, this one's really unfortunate. So because of the hood risers, I did the Honda mod, but I can't even go all the way back. This is about as far back as I can go, which is still really high, but I might always need to have like some type of hood prop in order to hold the hood up this high, because it hits in that corner over there. So that sucks. But yeah, guys, essentially that is how you do the Honda mod on your 240. Being able to tilt the hood all the way back, have leaning against the windshield, that is what I was going for. But unfortunately, since I have to run the hood risers on my setup with the VQ, I'm not going to be able to do that. The only way I'd be able to is I could possibly like make this hole a little bit longer, these two holes a little bit longer, so the hood pushes up a little bit. Then it might fold all the way back, or I can like cut a piece of the hood right here, but I don't want to do that. I'm not too worried about it right now. I'm just happy that we got the hood mocked up and that it fits now. I will probably end up getting hood pins for this hood right here, since this latch it's a little flimsy since I took that supporting rod out, and I don't want to put it back on. Like I really don't. Even though I'm gonna have a bumper on all the time, when the bumper comes off, it just looks so much better without that rod right here, which if you guys want to see how it looked, it was actually this piece. So this is how it went basically. And yeah, that's ugly. I mean, this whole radiator support is already ugly because it's all rusted and dirty, but at least without that piece it looked a little bit better. What I'm gonna do now is finish hooking up the water temp gauge. So I have the aftermarket sensor right here. I just have to run the wires inside the car. I have the gauge inside. I have to wire all of that up, and shouldn't be too hard. I mean, I was able to hook up my electric fans, which I'm still really happy about that, so this should actually be even easier than that. All right, so I went to the store because I needed to get some ring connectors to do the install, so now we can finally get into it. Real quick, I did get the reservoir hose, so that is now done. I should have probably got like an extra feet so I could like wrap it around the battery or something, so it's not just like hanging on top, but it's fine, it'll do for now. Let's get into the install of the gauge. All right, so it is not hard to tell that it is a complete mess in here because I still have not put anything back, but I'm just gonna basically wire everything, and then I'm gonna just leave this hanging because this is gonna go basically right here in the middle where the vent is for the AC and heater. I bought a gauge pod that sits right there, so this is gonna be sitting right about here. So I'm gonna just run all the wires, and then like I said, just leave this hanging, install that later. So the connector is zip tied right there. This green wire is the one that connects to the white wire on the temperature sensor. So I'm gonna run this green wire up front, and also this black wire. This longer one also connects to the temperature sensor. The shorter black wire coming out of the connector is the ground. So here's the green and the black wire. You see actually how long they are. No additional wire needed for these two. These are more than long enough to connect perfectly onto here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these to length and crimp them on here. All right, so I got these two connections done, green to the white, both blacks together, and I have the ground inside the car done. This is all temporary stuff. I'll probably end up moving this ground once the dash is in. So now we have the yellow, the red, and the orange, and according to the manual, the red goes to a 12-volt switch, the orange goes to the 12-volt headlight switch. That's for the dimming when you turn on your headlights, and the yellow goes to a constant 12-volt. All right, guys, so I just got that gauge connected right there. Let's go ahead and put the key in, turn it, and whoa, look at that. Look at that, guys. That seems to be working perfect. It has all the different colors. That is so awesome. It is a little bit dim right now because my battery is a little dead. You can see right there, you can barely see the numbers, but yeah, my battery's a little dead right now, but at least we know that this is working. Yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What's up, guys? So I just came back from Hexa Garage. I went down there to pick up the transmission mount because yeah, the one they shipped still hasn't got here. I was tired of waiting for it. I wanted to put this on, so I just went down there and picked another one up. Hopefully that transmission mount lines up, since I'm not using Hexa's motor mounts, I'm using the eBay ones. Hopefully that's all good and we can get everything good to go, and then all I gotta do is get the drive shaft made, figure out the starting issue, which I sort of have a feeling as to why it's not starting. So we're gonna go ahead and try a few different things and we'll see how today goes. All right, so I definitely just spent like 2 hours just to get the transmission mount on. I had to take off the counterweight that goes on the transmission, and taking that off with the transmission on the car is a lot of work because it's super tight. It's in a super tight space. I actually had to get an angle grinder and cut it off, so it took a whole bunch of time to get that off. And now I finally got the transmission mount on, and I don't feel like going back underneath the car, so I'm gonna just post this picture right here and you can tell me what looks wrong with that picture. Clearly one of the bolts that goes to the transmission is not lining up. The 4 that go to the chassis lined up fine, but 1 to the transmission does not line up at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just leave it like that. I tightened everything up. I'll just get the car towed over to my boy Bay Area Muffler. I'll have him modified a little bit and we'll call it a day. I mean, it fit way better than the eBay one that didn't line up at all. Now we're just gonna continue with some other stuff. Hold on. What's up, SA?
Yeah.
Say what's up to the vlog. What we're gonna do right now is put the dash back on. I'm actually excited for that because My interior has been torn apart ever since I got the car. I don't know if you guys remember when I got the car, it had full interior. This car had full freaking interior and I sold most of it. I only have a couple parts left. So any you S13 hatch guys, if you guys need some interior pieces, I got headliner with sunroof, and I got a couple of the interior pillars. So yeah, hit me up. I might have it for sale. What I do have is for sale, I should say. But yeah, let's go ahead and put the dash back on. So I know I said I was gonna go ahead and put the dash on right now, but remember I was telling you guys earlier that I thought that I could possibly have an idea as to why the car wasn't starting. Well, I went ahead and did some adjustments. What I did is I swapped these two lines, so the fuel feed and the fuel return, I swapped them because there was a possibility that they could have been flip-flop when I installed them. So I swapped those two. We're gonna go ahead and try to start it and hope that we get a start and not flames. Y'all heard that though? It kind of wanted to. It kind of wanted to. No, nothing. Y'all heard it though, right? Y'all heard it. It kind of wanted to start. It's trying. You guys can hear it. It wants to. It wants to start. So I guess since the car didn't start, we can go back to our regular scheduled programming. I'm installing this dash. Let's get it. Guys, I didn't even notice the time. I have other stuff to do. Cars are not my only life, as a matter of fact. But yeah, the main purpose of this video was basically to do the hood mod and to get the gauge installed, and we got that done. Kind of happy in a way that the car didn't start, because I want that to be like the next video, you know. I don't want to have everything in one video. I want to spread things out. But yeah guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and stay tuned for the next video, which will hopefully be its first start. Peace out.